Yeah. All right. Welcome back to the Underground. Today we're talking to Racc from Betrayed Tribe.
What's going on?
And
How
today,
you been?
I think we're going to be
I'm doing
talking
pretty good.
generally, and we've got a few things going. He's good, we're good. Because I mean, Trip, you don't know, but he messaged me. If I'm not mistaken, Rack, do correct me if I'm wrong. Um, on the basis that you wanted to talk about, your transition from one community to another. And it was and how you've got to where you are within Betrayed Tribe. You know, obviously, it's no small feat. I mean, as long as the club's a real club, which we don't know yet, but we hope to find out. Um, I mean, Trip, if you want to ask him anything very quick, just get anything off the table.
Just if you could tell everybody what your title is in your club, that'd be great. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, so
and
the
a little
club
bit
is
about it.
right. So the club is fairly new. Um, I'm currently the SAA for the mother chapter. We're in Grand Sonora, but yeah, we were created recently after Fallen Souls. I don't know if you guys know about it or not, but I was their head enforcer, and that shut down. So it's same group of people except for the previous president, but we decided to stay together and create this group.
Fair enough.
Okay. Okay.
Makes sense.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah,
I guess then
Uh,
we can start. We can get going where it started. Back in as you said, your Milsim days. Said you used to run a Milsim. I mean, what was that called? What was the
yeah. So the first, so at first I ran as a basically like a loan contractor where Milsums would hire me to do work for them, uh,
you do
such
events and
as
things?
what was that?
You do events and things like
Oh,
is that
oh yeah, no. So nothing, no, nothing crazy like that. But no, they would hire me to basically keep tabs and
fair
gather
enough?
intel on other groups. But that being said, I'd only do that if the group was like tyrannical or they were just basically a griefing group. But
Yeah,
I started out there. A big basically score that I got was with FleetCom way back in the day. But yeah, they wanted me to infiltrate and keep tabs and intel on a group called SOG. At the time, they were just griefing every session, blowing up the little guys, and I agreed. I was like, "Yeah, let's go for it." But I started out as a lone contractor, and but I met up with a guy named Jet4145. He's known as G Sword Jet now, but he was a 2IC, which is second in command
yeah.
of a group called Global 4145. Um, I mean, he liked the leadership skill that he saw within a small time frame that I met him, and he offered me a position to be the major, which is their first in command for the group. It was a PMC that worked alongside with Milsons as well. But yeah, I mean, I resided there for a good while. I met up with one of my longtime partners now, who's been through it thick and thin with me. His name's Swagger.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I got to the point though where it wasn't really for us, and
yeah.
we liked the aspect of instead of staying in one big group and only looking after ourselves, we wanted to look after others. Um, so we ended up doing that, and there ended up being a civil war between the stuff. I got a bounty placed on me to get kicked off of GTA, all that type of stuff. But you go from, being by yourself and you have the basically the opportunity and you take that opportunity to become, you know, chain of command highest in a PMC that was renowned at the time and willingly step down away from that and people not liking that, you're gonna face a lot of challenges. A lot of people they're gonna want to like come after you because they'll either feel,
Salty.
yeah, like, hey, you were with us, why'd you leave? It was nothing personal, but some people took it that
Yeah,
way.
no, they just get
But
upset, they,
later on,
yeah,
we
it's
decided to
understandable.
do our own thing as well, where I filmed Swagger, and I was like, hey, bro, um, I did a lot of loan contracting in the past. How about you join me? We do a little bit of that again. Um, so we ended up doing that type of stuff. There's other groups that we went in, and we found a group that had DDoSers, and a big thing with me is, um, you can have all the beef you want online and all that type of stuff, but real life situations, that's kind of like a borderline keep separate. These guys were crossing that line and causing problems for people in real life. So Swagger and I decided to go in, and we kind of just dismantled that aspect of I guess their organization, where there'd be a group of DDoSers in that milsim. And we got them kicked out of that milsim, and one of them got ended up reporting by someone else. It wasn't us. We're many things, but we're not snitches. But they ended up
Yeah.
getting caught with the authorities last time I heard. And but yeah, but I mean, after all that, the Milsim community doing a lot of operations and whatnot, we decided to try and find something different. We made a name for ourselves in that community, and our time was done. We already did everything we could. These big groups that were known and renowned for griefing and whatnot, and doing some really sketchy, shady stuff. We decided, we completed our task, so let's chill out. And at that point, I was looking through a group post one night, and I found a group post for an MC. Um, it was you guys want the name of the MC, or?
That's
Yeah,
up to
you
you,
go ahead.
just
Throw it out
we're here
I
there.
to
mean,
learn your story, mate.
so yeah, I mean, we found a group post for a Blackbird's MC. Um, and I never understood the MC aspect of GTA, you know? So I was like, it might be interesting. Um, so I get in as a hang around, and I meet some people. Um, Swagger got in there with me a few days later, and we started doing our stuff. Um, that's actually where I met Unholy, when I was just a prospect at the time, and I met Miss Cyanide. Um, and the first time I met her, the current president, or the president at the time, asked me to go over because there was like some war or whatever going on. Like, hey, go protect Cyanide. So, okay, rode up. Dude, you should have seen it. She was about to blow my brains out because she didn't know if I was with them or not. So I was like
Cyanide's
typing.
great.
She's awesome. I typed as fast as I could. I'm like, I'm with Blackbirds. I'm with Blackbirds. And but yeah, so we're going through the stages, but at the time, the president, how I said in the past, tyrannical, where I'm gonna do what I want without my people's, support type deal. There was moments where, I mean, I was just a prospect, so I couldn't really get too much behind the scenes with it. I was just trying to complete my phase, and I was trying to earn that patch, because I was like, yo, this is something I really want to do.
Right.
Yeah, and but I noticed something was off, and you know, the president at the time was making shots. And I remember you guys, like telling me earlier about rumors of someone saying unholy or whatever and all that type of, I don't know. But that I remember hearing about that rumor when I was just a prospect in Blackbirds. Um, I think I know who it is. I'm not gonna say it though, just because I'm not gonna put him up on blast. I'm not like that. But
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm the type of guy where unless I witness it firsthand, I'm skeptical because who am I to judge? I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, as
but
far as you're concerned, you could have just seen the good parts, and they could be telling the truth. So you're not gonna sit there and
right,
start accusing
you
someone of
gotta
just chatting shit the whole time. And you're just like,
exactly because you just gotta. That's just my philosophy is
you've got to
you
learn to
know,
mediate in any world. GTA, real life. You've
hmm
got to learn to mediate because let's say you go into every
exactly.
if you go into every situation believing what you heard, as many people have said, it's never going to end up good for you. You've got to if you're going to go in
No.
accusing someone, know what's happened before you're fucking going to go in there and go, right, yeah.
Yeah, I
Wh-
mean
Which is
exactly.
which is why I was genuinely interested in what Unholy had to say about the accusations that had been brought forth, because I was like, like
As
Yeah,
someone that personally knows Unholy, and you know that like that's the farthest thing Unholy could be.
oh, most definitely.
So,
I mean, from
you kind of had to ask him to like see what he'd say.
yeah, I mean, from the times that I've known him and the times that I talked to him, um, I mean, all I can say is I've never witnessed those accusations at all. Um, so I'm not going to say that they're true because I mean, I'll be honest with you, with those accusations, if they were true, I don't think he'd talk to me at all. Um, just because of the circumstance of it. But no, he's always been really nice. He's always been very chill, really cool. Um, Cyanide too, but you know, but actually, speaking of Cyanide, we ended up leaving Blackbird. It was at my very last day of prospect, very first day. I just got patched in, and people left Blackbirds, and Blackbirds shut down, and I was like, huh. So I went with the main group that created their own club, and I was like, hey guys, what's going on? Um, because my sponsor at the time, he left as well. He
Yeah.
left as well to go with this group, and I was like, look, you're my sponsor. I know I'm full patch now, but you're my sponsor. I'd like to follow you. I'd like to come with you. And then that's when Fallen Souls was created. Um, it was a brand new aspect, because I don't know about you guys, you can be as knowledgeable as you want in one field, but this is all a foreign language to me
yeah,
as
100%.
somebody who came from somebody who came from a Milsim and PMC,
Let's say, I mean, I
doing.
spent probably I want to say, because I joined the MC community for my first time. I got my first MC back in like 2017, and then I took a
Mhm.
very long break from it from 2017 to about probably I did about a year of it, and I spent a year in a club, and then I took like a probably like a 2 year break. I spent some time in Mill Sims, went bounced around the Mafia community, and
Mhm.
even coming back to the MC community after that, I thought I knew what was going on, but I was just fucking clueless. I was like, fucking, everything's
Yeah,
changed. I was like, fucking hell, it's a bit odd. I was like, Christ.
honestly, because you think you know it all, because like with the aspect of Milsim, it's I don't know about you. I mean, it's not all about just fighting each other. There is a whole lot of backdoor, under the table stuff that goes on
Oh,
with
with
spy versus spy stuff. You
Milsim is
know.
such a long. It's a fun thing to do, but the fighting's not fun for me. It never
Hmm.
was. It, I mean,
I mean,
I don't know if
honestly,
Trips have ever been part of any of these, but you're trying to run around, do your shooting, and you're getting fucking blown up by tanks and shit, and you're just like,
yeah. I
it's
mean,
just not very fun. Like, it's fun when you're like with your crew and that, you're doing all the role play shit. You're fucking getting outfits, you're doing the videos and that, and
hmm.
you're recruiting, people are excited for it, and then all of a sudden, you're fucking fighting like 6 different fucking groups at once, all using
Oh
fucking
yeah.
all in the air, all fucking probably using God mode glitches, and it's just like fucking hell, like, calm
I
down,
mean,
dude.
yeah. Well, to put it into aspect with fighting, I did I was in when I finally found like a group for fighting because I did a lot of spy versus spy stuff, but when I was in a group at one point that actually it was global, I did medevac where I mean at the time we didn't have stealth annihilators, so we got in Valkyries, right? And we
Yeah.
clicked on CEO ghost organizations, and our job was if a jet pilot was shot down, we pick him up and we fly him over to a spawn location for a jet. If a tank gets blown up and he's getting spawn camped while the tank's getting distracted by air team, we fly in and pick up the tank operator, get him to somewhere safe. Now, while you're doing all that, you have oppressor Mark II's, flinging piss missiles at you. You have jets diving on you. I mean, it's fun to do all the like chill stuff, but I mean, most definitely it gets to the point where you're starting to grow gray hair. You're like, wow, this is it's becoming too much, you know. But I mean, bringing back to it with you think you know a lot coming from a community that you tried to expertise yourself in to something new. You're completely blindfolded. Um, so I'm sitting here in front of Nippy. I'm like, yo, because he was my sponsor at the time. I was like, yo, man, I'm coming with you. Um, but I mean, he taught me a whole lot as him being my sponsor, and what it means to be within a 1% club and how to act, how to behave, the etiquette, Um, but at the same time, too, is this is more advice for prospects that are listening. Is even though somebody is your sponsor, you are your own person. You don't have to completely mirror your sponsor. You don't have to completely, I guess, kiss up to the ideal stereotype. You are your own person. But that being said, too,
Take aspects
is
from him, and then
Y-
add some bits of yourself in there as well. Is that what you?
yeah, exactly. Is be yourself, but at the same time, don't try and fight the mass. I don't know if you guys have watched Mayans, but there was a quote where he said, "Become the particle in the mass, but also be yourself." You know,
Yeah.
become
100%.
You
one
gotta
something
find that
greater.
balance.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
just got to find it. But
Yeah, because nobody
yeah,
wants it like for you to kiss their ass 24/7. Like you have to be like your own man, your own woman at some point in time and stand up for what you think is right. And that's what like, when you go to church, stuff like that, that's what you have to do. You have to voice your opinion.
yeah,
And like a
most
lot of
definitely.
people just want to agree. And I'm like, no, if you have a problem with it, speak up.
Yeah, I mean, your voice is the most powerful thing that you have, in a diplomatic situation, and even in a physical altercation, your words can go a long way. If you can defuse a situation, or if you can voice your opinion or your stance, that is gold, and no one can ever take that from you. You know.
I 100% agree.
But I mean, yeah. But when I was there, standing in front of him, and so yeah, I want to join you. He goes, yeah, sure. And the club reached out to Miss Unholy, Miss Cyanide. Um, I became head enforcer there, and they reached out to her, and they're like, hey, come vibe with us. And she came around and she ended up being my second enforcer. And I'll tell you what, she was one of the coolest people to work with, hands down. One of the coolest people to work with. Um, she was always very nice to everyone, even to the prospects. She let it be known, don't fuck with her, but she was kind of like the mom of the group. She was very nice to the patch members, the prospects. She let it be known that, you know, she
But could
supports
also
them.
smack you upside the head and keep
Oh
you in
yeah,
line when she had to.
she's like, yeah, like mama hen. Like, don't fuck up, but I believe in you. You know,
Yeah.
um, but I remember because remember how I said about tyranny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how
Yeah.
somebody will do everything they can to get what they want, by any means. It's almost like, if you watch Sons of Anarchy, Clay, it was almost like this situation, you know?
Yeah.
At the time, the president of Fallen Souls, he was the president at the time. He, I don't know what it was. It was a majority vote, and people in the club wanted it to be a all vote, like a unanimous vote. But the president, he wanted her out for some reason, and I didn't agree with it, at all. But
Yeah.
there were some people. I mean, I'm just speaking on my behalf. I can't really speak on anyone's behalf. But basically, I guess at the time, the president had some type of like political, I guess, not altercation, but a political difference, from what was affiliated with her, I guess, between the accusations, between, some shit that people were saying. I mean, just all speculations, the high school he said, she said stuff.
Yeah.
But when, yeah, I mean, but when
The
he,
childish bullshit.
yeah, but when the president decided, hey, we're gonna put a vote on her. It's gonna be, um, it's gonna be, what's it called? Majority vote. It's not gonna be unanimous. Here's the vote: yes or no. Everyone, you. Yes, yes, no, no, yes, no. Okay, there it is. Um, but we found out later on in the future that there was a lot of stuff that he left out that we didn't know about that probably would have shifted the vote, you know?
Yeah.
Um, or at least for me, like I found out stuff as well. I was like, hey man, I found out some things that would have shifted the vote. I don't know if anyone else would have caught on and been like, hey, when I mean catch on, be like, hey, we probably would have voted no too. Like again, like I'm not going to speak on anyone else's behalf. I'm only going to speak on my point of view. But I mean, it was just one of those things where it sucked, and you can only sit there and watch because you can't really do too much. The way he set it
And
up it was fair, but it wasn't.
yeah, it should have been a unanimous vote.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, most
that's how
definitely.
majority of clubs run it, at least. Um, but yeah, that sounds a little shitty.
Yeah, it was just one of those things, and he ordered a block. The president ordered a block on anyone who was affiliated with that vote. Um, and it was just one of those things where I was like, well, what the fuck? Because who are you to tell me that I got to block this person just because this vote that obviously wasn't fully true to light happened? But going back to it is what, like I said to y'all, is the tyranny.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in the Muslim community fighting that tyranny, building up a reputation just for people like that
To
to
come
tear it
along
down.
and just yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
but I mean, when that situation came around, it was something light. But I mean, later on, Fallen Souls ended up having
you
a
know,
dispute.
things like that is what eventually I think, stuff like that will ruin a club generally. I mean,
Yeah,
people like, oh, it's not serious, it's a game. Yeah, they're correct. It isn't serious because it is a game. It's if you do take it serious, then you're just being stupid about it. But we
There's a fine line you have
yeah,
to
there's that
follow.
one part. We have church to make sure it's as fun as possible for everyone. For big decisions for the club, that's what they have them for. So when you're going and changing the rules for church, I mean, you need to have a church to change the rules for church. Like
yeah,
you can't go into. I mean, I know, let's say basically in any club, if they're trying to start up, this is a rule, and you should be following. Unanimous decision. Don't do majority vote because it just never works because that's just
yeah.
stupid. And secondly, if you want to change it to majority, have a church where you have to get unanimous decision for it to be majority. Because as he just said,
Right.
if not, that I'm assuming evidently that caused what you would say is the downfall of the club, and it wouldn't.
Or the start of the division, basically.
Yeah, it was just more or less like, if I would have known type deal, I probably would have been like, well, what the heck? And I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to put anyone on
No, of
blast.
course, of course.
That's just how I am. If I have an issue with somebody and I want to be able to settle it some way, I'll settle it personally, one on one, like words, man to man. I'm going to do it the mature way. I'm not going to, go on here and screw this guy,
Yeah,
screw this girl.
That's exactly what
You
I
yeah,
heard
like
he
know,
a
did
child.
yesterday. We said, "Is there anything you
you
want to
know.
say at the end?" And he fucking went. He said, "Fuck this, fuck that." He said, "If you wanna," if I'm not mistaken, Trip, do correct me if I'm wrong. He'd said one club that if they come back to Xbox, they're gonna be brushing their teeth with his dick. So you know,
uh, that's the thing though with Unholy Man is he's a good guy. Do not fuck with him. Do
No,
not fuck with
no.
him.
But
he's
I,
fucking
I
serious. He's gonna show up
understand
at
that.
your
I'm the
house.
same way. Like, I don't like people messing with me. Like, I'll joke with you all day long, but as soon as you cross that line, I'll let you know. Like, hey,
Hmm.
don't do that again.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just all about, in my opinion, is you can have a good time. You can joke with each other as long as you keep that mutual respect.
Exactly. There's just gotta, you gotta let people know where that line is, though. Like, everyone's different, so you
Even in
can
real
push
life,
them, but so
you know.
far, and then you have to like,
Yeah.
hey, let them know, like, if I'm pushing you too far, just say, hey, back up. You can't push me that far. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Some people
Right.
can't handle it.
And that can be
Yeah. No.
applied to
Most
many
definitely.
real life situations.
Oh, most definitely.
If it's
Most
going too
definitely.
far. I mean, even in real life, as you said, you've got to, even if you're not a horrible person, my rule, even when I was in school, I wasn't, it wasn't that I didn't really enjoy wanting to get in a fight myself, but I knew full well, if I did get into a fight, there's a very good chance that I would be able to outclass anyone else in the school, you know what I mean? But it wasn't who I was. But I built up that persona, I built up that, sort of idea that I would get in a fight for the smallest of reasons. And it was, I mean, as you said that, when that president undermined you, it kind of made all that respect you had built up for yourself in, the short amount of time you had. It kind of went from up there to down here because they were like, they just completely disrespected everything that you've worked towards, and then,
And stood for,
yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
like,
I mean, yeah.
you can associate it with many things. I mean, like, you can associate it with dread. People. What you want to see is, I like to think of it like this. Um, when you join, what you want it to be is, when you join the session, people come straight to you, and you want more than one person to do it because they know that they can't. It's a sort of scared thing. So either they come straight to you to fight you, or they come straight to you to be friendly, and that's the type of thing you want. Because in a session, when I've done it before myself, like with MCs, I mean, both of you can agree with me. 90% of all MCs in this community are probably, they say they shoot second, but they shoot first. Yeah.
Oh
Almost
yeah.
I know Black Label it's choice for members, but most of us are shoot first. Myself, I've been a trip. Well,
I am not a shoot first. I
like
try to
you
play
know,
it peaceful as much as possible.
me and Trip are, I mean, I myself am distancing myself a little bit more from getting involved in conflicts with Black Label because of what, currently we're focusing on, the podcast and that. So, we're trying to stay away a little. I mean, I am, at least. I'm staying away, but I'm always still
I
on, available, but right now this is my main thing. But both of you can agree with me. The best
Yeah.
relationships I have ever made is when I didn't shoot someone the first time I saw them in the game. Some of the best
almost definitely. It's
relationships.
like
Most definitely. Yeah.
you're
And
sitting
it's
there thinking about it. You have them in your crosshairs, and you're like, "No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna invite this guy to party." Then you invite him to the party, and you have the best conversations ever.
I say I was
And you
riding
find out
around
this
with three.
guy's
I was on
chill
my
as hell.
own, riding around with three other MCs. There was like two people from one of them, four in another, and like eight from another. We were just riding around having fun. There was no, you know, there's no conflict. We rode round, we killed some fucking randoms because they blew up our fucking ride, and we weren't fucking happy about it. So we just abused them until they left. You know,
Like, but that's more of like how it was in 2013, like on 360. I miss those days. Like, I
I mean,
really do.
I
Like,
I wish
with
I
the
wish
whole
I
MZ
was.
side of things.
I wish back in 360 I was more knowledgeable of things like this because when I used to play there, it was so. I enjoyed it, but I wish I knew about these type of communities because it would have made my personal experience, at least. I don't know about, Racc or anything, but my personal experience, I think it would have been much better.
Yeah, I
Oh yeah.
mean, we were also we were also really young when 360 GTA was beginning to be a thing. Like, I don't know about you guys.
Oh, yeah, I
Um,
was very much too young to be playing the game then.
I was
oh
too
yeah,
young to be playing GTA. I can tell you that much.
I remember,
yeah,
I
like you had
remember
to sneak it.
what I used. No, no, I used to play at my nan's house. My uncle, he's younger, but
Hmm.
he used to have an Xbox, and every time he would go out or anything, I'd be allowed to play on it. And I remember I'd hop on, and I had my own character online, and I kept spending all of his money, thinking I had been given loads of money for free. So all the money he had earned up on his character, and then I was playing on my character. I thought that that meant that you know that was my money, and they'd given it to me, and I was getting it for free. So I'd spend all this fucking money. Like when I bought the good old Dinka Jester back when it was probably the best all round car in the game. It was a beautiful vehicle. I remember I bought it and I fucking loved it. And then when I next came round, I went to find it and I couldn't find it because it'd been sold because I'd spent all my uncle's money. Yeah, I mean,
Oh
nonetheless,
man.
now this conversation's just stemmed from the fact you were talking about how someone's ruined your respect, but
No,
nonetheless.
Yeah.
I remember how I got GTA is that I lied to my dad. I told him that it was a kid friendly game. He went out there and bought it. Didn't even think twice about it. And he went
So I do.
downloaded it, started playing it. The first thing I did was started shooting people. He's like, this isn't a kid's game. And all I heard was motherfucker. God damn it. And I was like,
No,
you bought it now.
I got some money for Christmas, so I asked for some gift cards, and I told him I was gonna buy whatever I was gonna buy, probably some fucking Minecraft shite or something. I don't fucking know what said I was gonna buy. But instead, I bought GTA, and I remember, and every time my mum came into the room, my dad, and I just quickly quitted it out and started loading up another game. And it took him about
Trying to hide it.
3.5 years to realise that I actually had it, because my mother couldn't. My mother was very opposed of it. Doesn't even like fucking Nerf guns, and then she goes and buys my little brother one, and I was like, that's a bit unfair, don't you think? But nonetheless.
Yeah,
Uh,
but I mean, well, I mean, going to the aspect of, I mean, Fallen Souls, they ended up shutting down, kind of the same reason how my first club that I was prospecting and everything for, um, shut down. It was just leadership was off, and there needed to be a change. But I mean, that's how Betrayed Tribe became a thing. But having to work your way through completely being renowned in a Milsim PMC community and saying, you know what, I'm leaving, and completely trying to burn all your bridges to that community so you can start something new, fresh start. Building your way back up. The best advice I can give to people who are trying to get into the MC community or into the Milsim community and whatnot is listen and learn. Don't try and go in there and think you're hot, shit or anything. Don't try and go over and think that you know stuff. If you're joining a community, you know absolutely nothing about it. So it's always best to sit, listen, and learn, because as you learn, you can apply that to yourself as you're going in the community, and that's how you legitimately build your way up, and instead of having to try and, like,
Bullshit your
basically,
way
yeah,
through it.
exactly,
Don't be
bullshit your way
fucking scared
through,
to ask the
you
questions
know?
either. Like, it's one of the biggest things that people have issues with. They think asking their questions makes them look stupid, but you'll find like 70%, probably like 99% of the time, people would rather you ask the questions than get it fucking wrong and start fucking it about.
Yeah.
Like it,
Oh, most definitely.
because it used to piss me off when, I'd be going around with some new people who just joined the community and they would start fucking, they'd go off the radar saying, and when they were in their patch and in tagged, and I was like, what are you doing? And they went, oh, I didn't know we weren't. I went, why didn't you ask? I went, oh, I didn't think about it. And it's just like, you probably did think about it, but you thought that you
And
didn't need to ask
it would
because,
be stupid.
yeah, you're just gonna be, fucking stupid about it.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
that's the issue with
Like,
people joining the community today. It's such a hard thing to get into, but it's so incredibly, like, it's fun if you find the right people to do it with, and then it's not fun when you get, fucking people.
well, I think that's why the 1% is like the rule itself is so far stretched now, because
Yeah.
nobody wants to ask what's 1% rules, because there's so they
I mean,
done started a club and have no clue what 1% rules are.
Hmm.
Trip,
And that's what makes
sorry,
them a 99.
Racc.
Yeah, but they have no clue that they're a
The-
99. They just think that they're playing 1%.
Right. Let's get your opinion on what a 1% club is, because we got one from Unholy, and he said
Hmm.
he said that he's very sure that no one's will ever be the same as his, because it's such a loosely held, you know,
Yeah.
terminology.
I mean,
what is your idea of 1%? Do you allow
so
marksmans, or are you against it?
no, okay. So 1% is, I'll be honest with you, Unholy, he revolutionized the term 1% when he created Black Label. But for me, 1%, to put it in a example, I tell the prospects when they first join in, I did this with Fallen Souls and I do it now. They're only allowed to have 3 weapons. They're only allowed to have a pistol. They're only allowed to have a carbine rifle. And they're only allowed to have a switchblade. That is it. Um, there's no alien guns. There's no axes. There's no stone hatchet. Fuck that shit. There is no special ammo. There is no snipers. There is no marksmen. There is no explosives. The only thing that are throwable that I would allow would probably be tear gas. Um, I mean, I
How do
mean,
you
what
feel
else?
about
There's no
muskets?
MGs, muskets. I've never see. Here's the thing with me is I never used a musket. Um, they're like, oh, can I use a musket to, like, substitute it for a sniper? And my
Most
answer to
clubs
that
do.
is,
I
if
guess
you
it's
can't shoot somebody with, or an assault rifle or a carbine rifle, if you can't shoot somebody with that, what makes you think that you can use a musket?
Well, like I personally use the musket for like distance shots. So like if my
Hmm.
AR can't like reach that far and I'm far back, I'll pull the musket out and just because it takes so long to reload. I feel like
Hmm.
okay, it should give you enough time to you pinpoint where I'm at and start firing back. Because like at
See,
that distance, you got to hit them about twice.
yes,
I tend to hit them once with the marksman if it's at long distance, and then use my AR to do the rest of the damage. As a,
right. I mean, I've never used all this just for me because I have my own personal. People could be
Yeah.
different, like you said. It's been spread thin, but if I want to shoot somebody at a long range, I use a revolver.
fair
I mean,
enough.
that's just me. I just use a revolver. The
I
reason why I
never
don't use a
thought about
musket,
that.
it's amazing. Honestly, I love it. Um, there'd be times where I feel like a cowboy. I feel like Doc Holliday or Wyatt Earp from Tombstone.
You should get Red Dead a go, mate.
Yeah.
I
Dude,
mean,
honestly, I was always thinking like, oh,
you,
Red
you,
Dead would be fun, but like,
it's
oh, I'm
not.
so bad at that game.
No, it's
I'm
not.
terrible. I
I'm
can't
good at
shoot
it.
on like
I do really
can't
enjoy
shoot
it,
on
and
here,
I'm a
but I
decent
really
shot.
can't shoot there.
It's just I hate the leveling up. People are like it's so fucking easy. I'm like, well, tell me how to do it then, for fuck's sake. Because
Honestly,
I
I've
can't never make any fucking money.
I'll be like, I've been level 20 for like a month and a half now. I've been doing missions every single fucking day and I can't level up. You need to tell me how to do this, because I mean, I do genuinely really enjoy Red Dead, like I honestly do, but motherfuckers, there's, if I search up, how to level up and shit, they give me methods where you need like a shovel or something. I'm like, they're like a couple $100. I'm like, I can't afford that. I was like, oh man, like you've got to tell me how to get the money first before I can get the shovel to
And
make
then
the
they're like,
money.
buy the bounty wagon. And I'm like, I don't have enough money to buy the bounty wagon, damn it.
I am broke, mother.
I'm here to make money,
But
not
Yeah.
fucking spend it, please.
yeah, I mean, how are you supposed to get money in that game where you start out with nothing, and in order to do stuff, you have to have money in the first? It's so weird. It's the shark card situation where you have to buy
Well,
gold in
the
that
good thing
game
of
or something.
GTA is, I mean,
Well,
personally, I have like, one sec, let me have a look at my number. I've got it open right here. I've got 748 modded accounts that range anywhere from 100 million to 2 billion with like fuckloads of levels. I mean, personally, GTA money isn't an issue for me. But I'll tell you what is an issue. All these fucking accounts. I need to sell them before they bring out the new GTA. Piss
Yeah,
pain in my ass.
yeah. Ah, man, new GTA. I wonder. See, that's something that. I mean, before I get onto that, but with the muskets, I have no opinion. If a 1% club is using them, I don't consider them 99. I'm like, okay, it's a musket, but that's just me. Like, I personally don't use them. Um,
this is not your forte.
but yeah, I mean, if somebody shoots me with a musket, I have no opinion, and I'm like, okay, he shot me. But if they shoot me with a sniper, I'd be like, all right, motherfucker, what the fuck? Like that. That's a different situation where if they wear that 1% diamond on their back and they're pulling out a sniper rifle, I'm like, it's just take that diamond off if you're gonna use a sniper
Exactly.
rifle,
How do you
But
feel about blowing yourself up? Like, 'cause there's a lot of
ewoing.
people that would, in the middle of a fight, it's just, oh, it pisses me off. It, and I'll
Yeah,
start doing it back after it happens to me like 3 times. I just get pissed. I'm like, no, fuck it. If you're gonna do it, I'm doing it too. I'm not letting you run up kills on me because you want to kill yourself every 5 seconds.
see, with me is I've never ewo. I've fought people who ewo, and I hate it so much because, in my opinion, if like in your instance, if you ewo back, I mean, I'm looking at that, I'm like, like I'm laughing because you're giving them a taste of their own medicine, and that medicine is so bitter that they give out. They don't understand it until it happens to them. Where people who go up in ewo, you work hard for kills. I think we can
Yeah.
all agree on that. Is if you work hard for kills and you're right about to get that kill, and the dude just cock blocks you from it. I find it cowardice, in my opinion. It's like, oh, don't touch my KD. Oh no, it's like you're bad. You're just trying to save yourself. But I mean,
Yeah.
what you were saying, Trip, where you did it back to them. I find that like I think it's funny. Not funny because I'm like think it's bad. I think it's funny because they get a taste of their own medicine. I mean, I personally don't ewo back, but I always found it
It's
funny to
just
watch
like,
them get pissed.
because okay, I don't know if you know him or not because he went by Snoopy for a long time, but Ronan now he was
Hmm.
in BLS for a little bit.
Yeah, I
He's
remember
bad
Snoopy.
about it, terrible about it. Like, and honestly, like we were fighting him the other day, and he did it to me like 20, 30 times, and I
Oh
was
my
just, like
god.
on the like edge of my fucking seat. Like I was so pissed off. So finally, then he get ready. He threw his C4 down, and I shot his C4, and he was like, "Oh, Trip blew me up." I'm like, "Fuck you, you fucking bastard."
That shit would. Oh my! I've had instances where I've shot somebody C4 out of their hand, and it's one of the most like rewarding things
Oh
to
yes,
do if
this
you're
is
fighting
like,
an ewoer.
and that's like all he does now. And I was like, when you were in BLS, you know you didn't get away with that shit. What makes you think you can go around and do it in other clubs?
Well, he's
Yeah.
missed a big VP nowadays, isn't he? So
What club is he in?
He's been in like 6 clubs in a month. Okay, so the fact that he's a
yes,
Jeez.
VP means he's in a
actually,
no-name
no, no,
club.
no, no,
I'm
no, no, no.
sorry.
Actually, no. Sorry, I think I might be wrong. If I'm not mistaken, he got patched into another new club yesterday.
Oh yeah, that 5M club. Yeah. So
Yeah,
now
yeah,
he's
yeah.
in 2 clubs, but the 5M's different. I'll
I
give
do
him
enjoy
that.
5M. I really do want to get back into doing it proper.
I want to get back into 5M like
I've
heavy.
never I've never tried it, but I heard it's fun. I want to do it so I can get myself a street glide. You know, I always
Oh
thought that
So
yeah.
those were
you
badass
can get so you
bikes.
can get a proper bike.
You're right, because GTA won't give us jack shit.
No, they like we gave you 2 updates. That's enough. You don't need another one.
I like how that new bike, the Reaver or whatever, they take a piece of junk motorcycle and they slap Western on it. I'm like, this is not a Western bike. This is a street bike abomination, and I've seen people like, yeah, we ride it, it's 1% because it's Western. I'm like, you tell me that that bike is 1%. You tell me that
You're
that
gonna
bike
tell
is
me
considered a chopper.
that any person in the real life MC community is gonna go around driving an electric fucking bike? Do it. Come on.
Yeah.
Tell me. Shut the fuck up. They're not. So
No.
if you think
Now
that
I
you
will
can
say there
ride
are
that,
a few, that allow what I call homocycles. Uh, but very few. Most of them are like Harley only, and they may allow Indians. And I'm
Oh,
like,
nice.
on the scouts
uh,
though.
but the fact that like people like here, like it's a little different. I give people a little bit of slack on what they ride, as long as it falls under that chopper category. I don't really care as long as you're not laying down on a bike.
Yup. Yup. My God, bro. It's and something that is an aspect that I didn't even think about until you guys brought it up. I wonder what's going to happen to the MC community when the new GTA comes out. I wonder how that's going to go.
In
I
my
hope it
opinion,
lasts
it is a
because I feel
chance
like it's
for
so fractured right now
like
Yeah.
Trip. In my
that
opinion,
it won't last.
it is a chance that it can be the start of what the Mafia community is. It can be a push because it's a whole different version of the game. We might
It
be
is.
able to get a fully structured community around it because it's new. But the only chance we're gonna have to do that is at the start, the first month or so. If not, it's gone. And yeah, I think Trick will be right. The community will fall
Almost
into
set it up like
disrepair.
the mafia community though,
Exactly. I mean,
without
the
a
fucking
head.
us here at the Underground could start it, because then we would have no fucking bias towards anyone,
Nope.
and no one could.
That's what I was thinking about that earlier today. Uh,
Fair enough.
just like getting everybody here, like the mainstream clubs, and just like have a sit down. Like, let's talk about it. Let's get this community back right.
Well, I mean, I don't know if Racc ever got involved with it, but Unholy was talking to us yesterday, not just me, obviously. And he was saying how it's been tried before, but the problem is that it's been one club who's reigned supreme because it was made by a certain club, and because of that,
Mm.
one club has just sat there and taken complete control, the entire time, and they've not really given anyone else a chance to do it. Fucking hell, sorry about that. I just fucking smashed my head on the fucking ceiling. Um, but he said that it has been done and it worked for a little bit, and then that one club decided that, oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna basically take control now. If we don't like you, you're getting kicked out. But I guess that's where the conflicts go with the Mafia community. They have blacklist. I mean,
Yeah.
blacklist is a voted thing though. Like, all the families in the community are meant to vote on it at a big meeting, the Dons meeting. But I don't think that happens very often. I think basically if you're not liked and you're in goody goody with whoever's, you know, the admin at the time, you know, you've won there, really, haven't you? So
Yeah. I mean, I remember way.
sorry.
Oh, you
Hello.
hello,
Hold on, everyone
hello.
listening. Racc seems to have disappeared.
He has seemed to.
Okay, we'll just talk about conversation for a minute then. I mean, Chip, I mean, what we were saying, I mean, I do think that the new GTA will be a perfect opportunity for a structured MC community to come in to fruition, and but it can't be, you know, made by a club. It would have to be made by someone who knows the community, you know, knows everyone,
And it,
and isn't, you know,
yeah,
doesn't hold a bias towards the club, which is obviously very hard to find. But you find that person, then, you know, that's a good community we've got going there. I
we're
mean,
out.
I don't really know. Oh,
Hello.
oh, there we go.
Hello.
Hello, Racc.
Holy
Okay,
smoke.
there you go.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
disappeared
you
for me a
kind of
minute.
dipped out there for a second.
But no, I was saying is like I never really understood the mafia community too much because it could just be me, but there's like because with the MC community there was always something to do. With the mafia community, like I was only affiliated with that for a week, you know, and there's only reason why I was affiliated with that for a week is because I felt like there was nothing going on. I mean, maybe it was just a bad
It
group or
depends on the
whatnot,
family.
but
Yeah, no, it would depend on the group, because I will stand up for the community now. It is a fun community, but shit happens like too far apart. And if you're not, there's a big thing about being blessed, which I don't know if you ever got involved or, you know what it is. But basically,
yeah,
you get blessed by a family, which I can't remember. It might have changed then, but when I was in it, you could only get blessed by like a handful of families.
yeah,
You know, and if you know, if you were blessed, then it allowed you to do certain things. I can't remember what they were. I can't really remember.
yeah.
But you know, I think it's a great community. It could have just, it can use so many changes, and it can be so much better, and it could be such a, you know, a big thing for the community itself. It just doesn't hold on to those
It's
values
just
that it
so
needs to.
hard
Yeah.
getting not everyone on one page.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, I don't know why, but I mean, like I said, I was a hitman. It was only for a week. Um, I only killed one guy, and it was so insignificant. But like, they were telling me about the whole like being blessed and everything. You know,
It's a big thing for a family to get blessed. Like they're bound to talk
yeah,
about it.
it's like their rite of passage.
It's like
Um,
our full patch, man. Like once
yeah,
you get that patch, like you're a different
Well,
like
no, see, a full patch equivalent in that community would be a made man, because a
yeah,
prospect would be an associate, and a made man would be a full
being
patch. But
yeah,
bro, no,
being blessed
but
would be
there's
like
this
your
thing,
family.
being blessed
but
is
like
like,
in,
you know, the family becoming something bigger than just it. You know, like
Yeah,
it's hard to explain it in MC terms.
they
It doesn't really exist, but you know,
yeah, it'd basically be imagine
like
like all the OG clubs. So like Metalheads, BLS, you know, like all these old OG clubs get together, right? And they see a new
yeah.
club around and they're like, "You know what, man? We give you the head nod and
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, you
that's a
ride
good way
with
to put
us
it. Yeah,
now."
it's basically like a patch
You
over.
know?
To in all, for all effective reasons, it's kind of like a patch over to an
Yeah.
extent. I wouldn't put it at that level, because a patch over means that you basically just become one, which obviously isn't that, but it has that.
Hmm.
Let's say you get patched over in, I mean, Reaper Lords, just because they're a well-known club and there is a lot that goes into getting into it now. Let's say Reaper Lords patched you over. I think that would be a correct equivalent to getting blessed, because Reaper Lords aren't just. I mean, there's a big, you know, thing whether you like them or whether you don't. You know, as I mean, Unholy stated to us that he said, obviously they've done something right, and obviously they are a very, very skilled bunch of people to get what they've done. You know, they've been featured Rockstar, IGN, YouTube
Oh
channels of
yes,
millions of,
they are very smart individuals.
hundred
Very
percent,
smart. You don't get that big by chance.
Yeah, you have to be very calculating and very strategic.
100%.
Yeah.
And you know, that I think that's what we can compare it to. I mean, people can, if they want to, message us or comment whatever saying, this is a better equivalent, go for it. But if from what I can, right now in my head, the best equivalent I can possibly make to it is skiing patched over to something like Reaper Lords. It's such an
Yeah,
exclusive club. They weren't recruiting for 2, 3 years. They opened it back up recently. I think they've already closed it down again though.
Oh yeah,
I,
they only
I
keep like I want to say 20 members. Like
Like their Red
they're
Dead's
big.
like 60, 60, 70 or something, but then like it takes a long fucking time. What do they call it? Blue
Oh,
shirts.
you're the prospect for a year.
Yeah, there exactly. That is the
Oh
tradition.
yeah.
That is a traditional like a tradition in the community that I
Like
wish every
when I
club
was
held. It would be so good for the
which like
community if people were willing to do that, but they're not.
oh yes.
Because
No,
people, because it's a game,
like
and because the clubs are little known, people aren't willing to spend that long as
well that's like Unholy said, man. Like last year it would have been different. You could have had somebody prospect for about 2 3 months and nobody bat an eye.
and now he's having to
But
now he's having to
now
put minimum prospecting down to
people
like five
started
five days
throwing
to a
out
week.
patches,
Yeah, and now
and
he's had
now
to
yeah,
put it down.
everyone expects their patch, and it's just been watered down now
It
somewhat.
does
Like
upset me
I
because
remember
the
getting my
community is
first
something I very much
patch
like. I'm
and
sure it
feeling
upsets
like
both of
I
you.
had been accepted into a family.
oh
Oh,
yeah.
100%.
I mean, it was hard work that paid off, and now it's being handed out like candy. Where 1 week and like, okay, here's your full patch. You're like, what the fuck?
Like it does upset me. I mean, I understand the reasoning because Black Label, as you said, they've made it the minimum prospecting 5 to 7 days because they can't make it longer because no one's willing to spend that long. But it does honestly upset me to see the way the community's going because I've been in it for a while now, and it does upset me that what it used to be so pure and traditional, and it used to be so great. It's turned into a toxic, full of egotistical children who think they're all this and that. I mean,
And has watched way too much Sons of Anarchy. They're like,
yes, yes, they've watched way too much Sons of Anarchy, and they now think they are Jack Steller. But in theory, they are more like Juice and take it up the arse.
Getting prison raped.
Exactly. There you go. I think that's a better equivalent to what they're like than Jax.
I mean, that show, Sons of Anarchy, there's some parts in it where you're like, yeah, that was portrayed good. But then you have some parts where you're like, yeah, people take it out of context. Like, I've had so many people who are hanging around and they want to prospect, and they're just basing everything off the show. I mean, you can reference it. Like,
if
oh,
they're basing everything on the show, fucking Racc, he spent like 2 years prospecting. He didn't
yeah,
even get a fucking full patch because he died. Sorry if anyone
he
hasn't actually
died, yeah.
finished watching it, but he
and a lot
died.
of people don't know that like Halfsack himself is a true like Hell's Angel.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I found that out
He's a
after I finished watching
that's
it.
why he had to leave. Like because they're like, nah, yeah, we don't. It's getting a little too big.
Yeah,
I don't know if we can.
you're portraying a son, and
yeah.
there is a big thing apparently. I watched a thing on it, and it's like how I saw actually you might have seen it as well. I saw someone who joined the Suns to leverage a position with the Hells Angels, but loved the Suns so much that they stayed, and I think that might have been the concern they had for him.
That's
Oh,
insane.
there's a lot of Hell's Angel members on that show.
Yeah, like happy.
Oh yeah, they made an ass of money off. That's why the Hell's Angels love that show so much, and they'll
And they
back
made
it up
money.
till the day comes home.
They should have
Lenny
made. They should
Lenny
have
the
made.
Pimp
They should have made a
was
Hell's
Sonny
Angel show.
Burris.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, it's one of those things where, like, Sons of Anarchy is so big, And Mayans too. That TV show. It's about to get. I mean, it's
Oh,
on
it's
its
about to
process of
huge.
getting big.
Actually,
Yeah.
I watched the first episode of that and I forgot about it. I mean, is it worth my time watching it? You know, I haven't actually watched it.
It is.
Yeah.
I
It
think it's
picks
better
up.
than Sons. I
Is it?
think it's
It
personally better than Sons.
it picks up.
It's basically like just based on the entirety of the story of Sons of Anarchy, but from the Mayans' perspective, is it not?
It's
No,
more.
it's
Or
after
is it a
Jack killed
continuation?
himself.
Oh, it's a
Yeah. It's
It's
after
continuation.
after
Jack
Okay.
Jack's
died.
kid. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
After Jack's died, it's about like a year, 2 years later,
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
and completely different story. They made the Sons look like a bunch of pussies.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm gonna be honest. They like because none. You gotta remember, everyone died in Sons. Like everyone that was anything besides like Chibs died,
Yeah.
Yeah, but then obviously
and I was like,
that was because those I can't remember what they're called, but it was the people that basically financed the Niners, weren't it? It was just a big
Yeah. It
thing
was.
all at the end, and it basically killed everyone.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why Jax ran into the fucking. I mean, obviously he was sent to Mr. Mayhem, and they let him go the way his father did, which I think was just a general respect they had for him. But what he was doing was erratic, and they went, yeah, it's got to.
oh yeah, he knew he had made a mistake doing what he did, killing that last guy, thinking that he was doing the right thing. So
Well, no,
now he had to do the right thing by
he did it
doing what he
he
did.
did it based on the fact that he knew he was gonna kill himself the second. Like he was gonna die straight after anyway, didn't he? So
Yeah.
I think he
So I
did
mean,
it
might
and
as
just
well.
went, you know, this man is never gonna leave us alone. I may as well just shoot him in his fucking face, and then he's off our fucking backs.
I mean, yeah. But I mean, speaking of Sons of Anarchy and Mayans and like clubs as well, such as Hell's Angels and Mongols, how do you guys? It's more of me asking y'all a question. But how do you guys feel about the clubs in GTA
Oh,
that patch
wearing their
themselves as?
patch.
Yeah, they're like,
I
oh, Hell's
per
Angels, Mayans,
I don't.
Sons, and whatnot.
See,
Well, like if
if
you're
you want
rocking
to
the
know our
Suns or
opinion
the
on that
Mines patch,
fully,
I don't really care. But if you're rocking the IRL like Hell's Angels, Mongols,
we
I don't like.
Pagans.
we talked to
Oh,
this
Yeah.
we talked to Unholy about this. He said his thought on that is if it resembles, even if it's not the same, if it closely resembles a real life patch, apart from like Suns and the well known ones, which are like
Mhm.
fucking hundreds of crews have just because it's a easy patch to get on. He said it's a massive disrespect to the clubs in real life, and
Oh yeah, most
you
definitely.
know, and under
oh, it
no
is extremely
circumstance
disrespectful.
should you be even thinking of wearing it, which I think 100%. Hell's Angels is a very big club, and people don't realise that they're a lot more than Suns are. There's a lot more.
Mhm.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a they have a charter that's a couple hours, maybe like 3-4 hours away from me, and we
Oh,
went
you're talking about the world's largest MC right there, though.
exactly, you know, and I live in the middle of fucking nowhere, and 4 hours away from me is still the middle of nowhere. You know, like
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
it's so it's incredible. You know, like they're everywhere, and you know, I mean, you know, we were here to talk about Racc's story, and now we're talking about this. You know, we've progressed, we've evolved. You know, we're talking about these other things. I mean, I think you know, generally, just to talk about the community as a whole, agree with me or don't agree with me. It was at a good position 3 years ago. Now it's shit, and in my personally, there's only 10 MCs which I have respect for. The rest of them
Yeah.
need to
Or,
either fuck their ideas up and go traditional and become a
Oh yeah.
proper
or
MC,
patch over.
yeah, or patch over to one of these other MCs and be serious about it, or shut down. Because they're
Yeah.
ruining the community, they're ruining the name of, you know, the. If you want to say it like this, like, I don't want to give the people which did it an ego, but, you know, the fathers of the community, all these original clubs, all the original founders of all these original clubs, all of them have maintained the same tradition throughout the whole time. It's these new clubs that are starting up with absolutely no idea on what they're doing. As you said, have watched too much Sons of Anarchy, and base their entire philosophy on it. And yeah, they're massive. They're just big roleplay clubs who chat the most shit, and yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Like
now,
yeah, finish what you're saying. Sorry.
I was gonna say, no, I will say is I'm extremely thankful to be a part of the club that I am. Even though we are relatively new, its leadership is made up of people who've been playing since 360, since 2018, you know, since the beginning era and its prime, that I was able to learn off of that. And I advise people who are trying to join the MC community, if you want to join and you want to go through the process, you need to find a group that are OGs, or you need to find a group that was taught by OGs and honor their values.
And it's like traditional.
Like, it's all about the traditionality.
Most definitely. 100% agree with you.
I mean, since
that's why like I'm so thankful for like Unholy, because he's been around for a minute. And you know, he's like, if I have a question, I've been around for a little while myself, but
I
like,
was asking
I
him
have
questions, like, and then, you
what
know,
were you saying?
I mean, I mean, from what you're about to say, I assume, I mean, I've had to ask Unholy questions.
Oh yeah,
and that's because
like Unholy,
as you said, make sure you're joining a club that's either taught by OGs or is, you know, like, you know, that is in charge by these original, like, because this, like, you know, they hold the core values of what I love. I mean, what you two love about the community, and it just needs to stay. You know, we can't lose that as a result of these negligent fucking children coming in and ruining our community. You know.
It's like a bunch of 12-year-olds too.
They're not even
like
12, man. They're like fucking. They're full-grown adults having arguments because they can't fucking handle it. They've got shot in the face, so they're calling it clumsy. They're calling out scripting just because they can't shoot for shit.
I don't get why people do that either. Like, I don't get why people have to cheat.
I mean,
like,
let them use clumsy. You just, you know, you ruin the name of your club. It's none of my business. You just make your club fucking stupid when we record you unfucking killable. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. And you know, I remember Swagger. Actually, here I can send this into the general chat. I have something for y'all. So at the time, the guy, this is Swagger and I. The guy to my right, that was that's Swagger in the lineup of 4. He brought up a really good point. That here, actually, I'm going to send this another one too. He brought up a good point that in the future, he has a theory that the 99ers, right, in the GTA community, and the 1%ers are going to fight each other for a civil war to claim what MC style is correct and what MC style is incorrect.
1% would win.
Well, that'd be unfair, like, because there's no way for a 1%.
I still think I still believe 1% would win that just naturally because they use free aim assisted. They spend time in auto aim. The natural skill.
I would hope so.
In my opinion,
but like,
the most skilled free aim community is the 1% MC community. As a whole and as a general, I do believe that the best free aim community in general free aim skill would
how
be
many of those 99ers are you think are going to be running clumsy and FAA?
They want to run clumsy, I run the same shit, man. I have no shame. If they're going to do it, I can do the exact same shit. There ain't no shame in that for me. I mean, I'd rather not, but I don't know if you two'd agree, but there's no shame in that shit for me if they're going to do it as well.
Oh, I personally, I don't even know how to run clumsy, nor do I want to learn.
I know how to, but I have no interest in doing so. It's so fucking
I don't
pointless,
know how to cheat. I just honestly haven't even took the time to even try to look it up.
The closest you've got to cheating is asking me for how much a modded account would cost.
I listen. Now I wanted to generally know because people buy modded accounts. I was like, well, maybe I could buy some and flip them. You gotta understand, like me, I'm a businessman at the end of the day.
So
He's
my
an
motherfucker.
I
entrepreneur.
Yes, you're gonna fucking try and undercut me to sell my shit for more.
listen. You were getting rid of the accounts, weren't you?
I
So you
am
were still
still
gonna
getting rid
make
of
some
the
money.
account. Yeah, but I
Yeah, I
told
was just gonna,
I don't want you, I
help
don't
you.
want right. Sorry, Ray. I don't want you to disclose how much I bought those accounts for here, but you know how much I paid for those accounts, and I'm not just gonna give them
Oh,
to you for the small prize.
I know, I know.
Just a small donation.
I promise you, it was not a small donation. I bought 250 accounts in bulk, and it was not cheap.
Oh my god. Your poor wallet. I mean, that's all I can say. Oh man.
It's because
Well,
But
I bought
yeah.
them
you're
off
pretty
a
lucky though,
modder who
'cause
went to prison.
GTA 6 won't be coming out for a minute. They keep saying, "Oh, it'll be out next year."
Actually,
Next
yeah,
year.
let me just publicly disclose. For anyone watching this or listening to it, you know, regardless of where you're listening to it, if you want a modded account, hit us up because I need to get rid of these bitches. Cheap prices. I'll even throw in the homing discount for any of you.
Oh
Nonetheless,
my god.
I mean,
Networking, man.
Racc, you know, I mean, as we're coming to an end here, you know, we've been talking for like hour and a quarter now. You know, we're coming to a
Yeah.
natural end point. I mean, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Yeah.
We had a great conversation. I mean,
Oh, it's
it's
been awesome. Thank you
it's
so
been
much.
some funny shit. We had a great conversation. Um,
Uh, anything else? Like, like any last words? You want to leave?
anything you want to say to any other clubs while you're here?
Oh, any other club? I mean, I have no words for any other clubs, but for anyone out there that is looking for trying to build up a reputation, because like I said, keep your head up. Don't take a lot of stuff personally when you're still new. Um, and like I said with prospecting, become a particle in the mass, but still be your own person because you cannot forget who you are as a person. Otherwise, you will ultimately fail. Um, but yeah, I mean that'd be my advice to anyone who is trying to join the MC community from something completely different and they have to like they're completely restarting fresh like I did, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's all I got for that's all I got to say for about that.
I mean, if we're all done, as I said, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Thank
It
you for your
has been
hospitality.
a
You know, just like
great pleasure.
you
I
know,
hope we can do it again sometime.
100%. You know,
That'd be
later
awesome.
on down the line, you know, have another conversation. You know,
That'd be
whatever.
fun.
You know.
Maybe catch up with you, see how everything's going in the club.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
You know, maybe when the whole MC community is falling apart, we can then talk about how it happened and say that we predicted
Right.
it.
Like, okay, so I
Unless we
called
can
this.
save it. That's part of this podcast
Yes,
to hopefully
we'll make a
save the
make
MC
a little
community.
buy series, and it'll just be all the podcasts we have with you, Rack, and it'll just be called Saving the MC Community.
Saving the MC community.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
But yeah, gentlemen, thank you for your hospitality and generosity. This was honestly one of the most fun I've had. So thank you so much, guys.
Very welcome, very
Thank
welcome.
you. It's been a great time having you. Really, it really has.
Thank you. But yeah, I'll catch you guys around.
Right, sounds
Y'all
See
good.
have
you,
a good
man.
y'all have a good night
Yeah,
and
you
good
too,
day.
man.
You
You
too,
too.
man.
See y'all.
All right.
Yeah.
Night, night.
And right, for those who's watching, thank you very much for listening to episode 2 of the Underground podcast with a 6, not a D. That was purposeful, we promise.
Yeah.
For those of you who enjoyed, I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to this bitch. If you're watching it, if you're listening to it on SoundCloud, fucking follow that bitch and like it. And if you ain't fucking following our Twitter or Instagram, be sure to do so. The links to those will be in the description of the YouTube and will be available on our SoundCloud profile. Thank you everyone for listening, and I guess we're now going to step out of the Underground, and go to the overworld. Thank you very much.